Discuss your second chapter, which is quite familiar with the chapter which you studied in, I think, 6th standard and 7th standard, from trade to territory. Guys, students, please do remember one thing which is very important, that trade, it's something which is for business purpose, and territory is something which is for the purpose to occupy the region. So here you can say that the company is known as the East India Company from British Raj. They came here in 16th century and then slowly and gradually established their control and started ruling over the whole country at the 18th in the 18th century. So today we are going to look for that particular moment. What was the condition of that particular moment, and what was the condition of those time. So here we have a first powerful Mughal emperor, which who has the great name Aurangzeb. So बाबर का बेटा हुमायूं, हुमायूं का अकबर, एंड अकबर का शाहजहां, और शाहजहां का औरंगजेब. So he is the most cruel person because he occupied, this thing. He imprisoned his father, the Shah Jahan, in Karavas, in prison. Okay, and that Shah Jahan was died because of that imprisonment after 6 years. So this thing considered in your mind. So Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal emperor ruler. He established control over a very large part of the territory that is now known as India. So guys, here you can understand that in history, whether it is in 7th standard or 6th standard or 8 or 9, you just need to know the facts. There is nothing which you need to remember, there is nothing which you need to understand. There is everything you need to just those are facts, and you need to just mug up it, okay, by understanding by your own way. So history is not a science. Okay, history is just a history which was happened during the time in 16th century, 14th century, or 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th century. So you need to just understand that, and literally you just need to try to remember everything. It's not all about the science that you can remember and you can write your own way. In history, if you're going to write your own way, then you will lose your your exam. So most important thing which comes here also is that your remembering power and your understanding power both. Hello. So after the death of Mughal Empire, after his death in 1707, many Mughal governors and big Jamindars began asserting their authority and establishing region kingdoms. So he was the great king, and when he he was die, there comes these landlords and the governors who's going to establish and occupy the whole kind of land which was territory. In actual way, they're just trying to occupy and wanted to rule some different part where Aurangzeb was occupied. Look at here, these are the Britishers, Angrejo, and figure 1, Bahadur Shah Zafar and his sons being arrested by Captain Hudson. He is a Captain Hudson, guys. This one, and Bahadur Shah Zafar and his son. Okay. So after Aurangzeb, there was no powerful emperor. and then we have a rebel against those things. So when a massive rebellions against British rule broke out in 1857, Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor at the time, was seen as the natural leader. So it's obvious thing that when someone is died or some another person come into existence to establish his authority over the period of time, it happens that he tries his every forces to occupy the whole kind of territory. Okay, now the most important thing for you people is that the establishment of the company, the East India Company. Guys, always remember that the East India Company came here not for trade. They just come here, and in Africa, in North America, in South America, just for the trade, and then they occupy, they make slave to every people. That's why it is to be said that the sun never sets in British Empire. So this thing is very famous for Britisher, that in a whole world somewhere the British Raj is continues still in that at now, because British here somehow occupied some lands in some area of this world. So in the 16th century, East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England. So this chart is an act which was signed by Queen Elizabeth I. Now let me tell you about the Queen Elizabeth. She is very great lady. She just told to every person who came here for trading. She never thought to be occupied India. She never thought to be continue the rule and make slave to Indian people. She was a very nice lady. If you have understanding of Elizabeth, then let me tell you about Elizabethan thing. Elizabeth in the time of 16th century also fought against the French army, because the French army itself is having a great power, and the German army too. It was known as the that particular movement which was there is a sudden change comes in 16th century, and the people of those time remember that Queen Elizabeth is a divine lady. So remember guys that Queen Elizabeth is divine lady too. This is an extra thing for you to understand who is Queen Elizabeth. Then guys, from this, the company did not have a fear competition from other English trading companies. Mercantile trading companies in those days made profit primarily by excluding competition so that they could buy cheap and sell dear. So guys, this company is having a one establishment, and there is an opponent position, nobody was there, right? Now if you have an option to buy biscuits or chips or Coca-Cola or thumbs up, but it was a time when one company, look guys, here mercantile, a business enterprises that makes profit primarily through trade, buying goods cheap and selling them at a high prices. What happened in those days guys, these guys who was belong from the company area, they just tries to occupy the whole country. That's why they bought everything in a small way and spend it, or sorry, sell it with a high price. So the royal charter however could not prevent other European powers from entering the eastern market. So, guys, remember that the good Cap of Good Hope is always there. English ships sailed down the west coast of Africa around the Cap of Good Hope. The Cap of Good Hope is the name in African country, guys. Here you can watch it. This is a Cap of Good Hope. So these people also went there. Okay, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India and had their base in Goa. And this Vasco da Gama founded India in 1498. You know about it. So what was the problem? The problem was all the companies were interested in buying the same things. The fine qualities of cotton and silk produced in India had a big market in Europe. So what happened in those days? People just come here and buy cheap products like cotton and other silk products and brought up into Europe and sell them in high prices. That's it. Here in Bengal, you find a very good thing. What happened in Bengal when East India Company came? The first English factory was set up on the banks of the river Hooghly. Guys, Hooghly is a river which is a branch of that particular river Ganga, and also sometime from Brahmaputra. And here you will have the big port, which is the capital of Bengal, is called Calcutta. So why this company had this tendency that they need to just establish or their company over there? Because the factor of atmosphere, the factor of good transportation is very familiar and very much dear and very to those circumstances which make trade very easy. That's the reason. Okay, this is what. So guys, when you look at these type of picture, this was the picture of 16th century, and look at the picture of today, you think that, sir, we want to go back and look at this, but this is not possible, guys. Guys, how trade led to the battles. Guys, this is the past form of lead, L-E-A-D, and the this is the past form of lead. Yes, the present form is L-E-A-D, lead. Okay, means what makes this company to comes here, and Robert Clive. Now find out who was Robert Clive. I'll tell you. Through the early 18th century, the conflict between the company and the Nawab of Bengal intensified after the death of Aurangzeb. So Murshid Quli Khan was followed by Alivardi Khan and then Siraj-ud-Dawla as the Nawab of Bengal. So who was the Nawab of Bengal? Siraj-ud-Dawla. You had a serial of Siraj-ud-Dawla in 2016, I think, on some channel, so you can just watch it so you can get the idea what type of personality he had in his time. Each one of them was a strong ruler. Okay, they refused to grant the company. Okay, this is the problem, that they refuse. The company, do not come enter into Bengal, we are the powerful person here. My name is Siraj-ud-Dawla, I can't enter you. I don't want you to be part of our region and make us disturb. If someone comes to you in your trade, you will say, go, we are peaceful people, we want anything to you to come here and spread rumors. The Battle of Plassey, which is very important for you people, guys, please get attention over here. So Alivardi Khan died in 1756. Siraj-ud-Daulah became the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, the company was worried about his power and keen on a puppet. Now the twist comes. That company tried to be Siraj-ud-Daulah would like to dance like a puppet wherever they say, wherever they conduct him, he has to work like it. So company tries to Siraj-ud-Daulah to be puppet, but he denied and he started work like his own self, and that's become the reason of Battle of Plassey. It was fought with this Angrez people, the Britishers. Let's see. Siraj-ud-Daulah become the an infuriated Siraj-ud-Daulah asked the company to stop meddling in the political affairs of his dominion, stop fortification, and pay the revenues. After negotiation failed, the Nawab merged with 30,000 soldiers to the English factory at Qasim Bazar. So in a Qasim Bazar, 30,000 soldiers were there. Okay, and he marched with those soldiers, captured the company official, locked and warehouses, everything he was captured, because now he has a 30,000 people's army. Man, what is the meaning of 30,000? It's a very big thing. If you are 100 people, then if you go somewhere, some another person will say, take it everything from to me, but do not harm to me. Okay, do not make harm to me. Okay, so this is the fact. Power is everything, guys. If it would be from knowledge, or if it would be from your heart, that's it. On hearing the news of the fall of Kolkata, company official in Madras sent forces under the command of Robert Clive. So this person name is Robert Clive, who came here from to Madras with great army, and prolonged negotiation with the Nawab followed. Finally in 1757, Robert Clive led the company's army against Siraj-ud-Daulah at Plassey, and then in 1757 the battle was fought against those people, Robert Clive's army and Siraj-ud-Daulah's army. Guys, who will win? So the defeat of the Nawab was that the force led by Mir Jafar. So Mir Jafar is a own commander, but British here gave him too much money and occupy him. So do not overthink. If somebody is with you, it simply does not mean that he will not be changed. He will be changed by someone. So you also think that the Battle of Plassey became famous because the first major victory of the company of British in India. So then this is all about the Plassey. You may read it. So company official become Nabobs. What did it mean to be Nawabs? It means, of course, that the company acquired more power and authority, but it also means something else. Each company's servant began to have vision of living like Nawabs. So guys, they started thinking that these people are living like a Nawab, so they tried themselves to make Nawab, and accepted the lifestyle of Nawab. And then this, after battle of Nawab, Bengal's Nawab, battle of Plassey, Nawab of Bengal forced to give every land to every this company, and Robert Clive himself amassed a fortune in India. He had to come Madras, now it is to be known as Chennai, and from England in 1743 at the age of 18. Now the rule of the company expanded. It was analyzed the process of annexation of Indian state by the East India Company from 1757 to 1857. Certain key aspects emerge. What kind of aspect? The company rarely launched a direct military attack on a unknown territory. So this is just, they thought that we not to attack any of the territory without knowing them. Then the Battle of Buxar, which is also very important. The company appointed resident in Indian state. They were political commander agent, and their job was to serve and further interest the company. So subsidiary forces that the company was supposed to maintain for the purpose of this potential. So here, if the Indian rulers failed to make a payment, then part of their territory was taken away as penalty. For example, when Richard Wellesley was Governor General, the Nawab of Awadh was forced to give over half of his territory of the company in 1801. As he failed to pay for the subsidiary forces, Hyderabad was also forced to cede territories on similar grounds. Time for Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore. So Mysore had grown the strength under the leadership of powerful rulers like Hyder Ali and his famous son Tipu Sultan. So Tipu Sultan is the son of Hyder Ali. Mysore controlled the profitable trade of the Malabar coast, where the company purchased paper and cardamom in 1785, and Tipu Sultan stopped the export of sandalwood. So guys, here what happened? He stopped the import export, means export of chandan. And British was furious. They saw Hyder and Tipu as a ambitious, arrogant and dangerous people for them. So 4 wars were fought with Mysore in 1767 to 69, 1780 to 84, 1790 to 92 and 1799. Only in the last battle of Seringapatam did the company ultimately win the victory. So only last, and rest of the things, this particular Tipu Sultan was won. So guys, war with the Marathas, let's look brief way. So late 18th century, here comes, we are in 18th century. Company also sought to curb and eventually destroy Maratha power with their defeat in the third battle of Panipat in 1761. So these company destroy eventually all the Marathas. The third battle of Panipat in 1761, the Marathas' drew of ruling from Delhi was shattered. They were divided into many states under different chiefs, Sardars belonging to dynasties such as Sindhia, Holkar, Gaikwad and Bhosle. These chiefs were held together in confederacy under the Peshwa. So only in Marathas these 4 chief dynasties were saved. Then also the Maratha was subdued in the series of wars. In the first war that ended in 1782 with the Treaty of Salbai, there was no clear victor. The second Anglo Maratha War was fought on different fronts, resulting in the British gaining Orissa and the territories north of the Yamuna river, including Agra and Delhi. Finally, the Third Anglo-Maratha War of 1817-19 crushed Maratha power. The Peshwa was removed and sent away to Bithur near Kanpur with a pension. The company now had complete control over territories. The claim to paramountcy. It is clear from the above that from the early 19th century the company pursued an aggressive policy of territorial expansion under the Lord Hastings. So then comes the Governor General Lord Hastings, okay, and then established the new policy. A new policy of paramountcy was initiated. Now the company claimed that its authority was paramount or supreme, hence its power was greater than the Indian state. So this paramountcy was initiated over that time, and company also says that authority was paramount or supreme, means those authority was held with authority is from Lord Hastings. It is not given to any of person. The doctrine of the lapse. The final wave of annexation occurred under Lord Dalhousie. Guys, the meaning of the annexation is combination, okay, a kind of combination with each other, jodan. So the final wave of annexation occurred under Lord Dalhousie, who was the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. Please do remember all the governors which are there in your chapter. He devised the policy that came to be known as the Doctrine of Lapse. The doctrine declared that if, listen to this carefully guys, the doctrine declared that if an Indian ruler died without a male heir, his kingdom would lapse, that is become the part of company territory. If there is a no male candidate after the death of the Nawab or anybody, then it would be go directly to the company and company will hire it, okay. It happens with one kingdom after another was annexed simply by applying these kind of particular. So what Britisher did is just they established some cruel rules, and with that cruel rules they occupy the whole country directly. And then in 1856 they took over Awadh too. So this is the territory when everyone was occupied by the Britishers. Then comes the setting up the new administration. So Warren Hastings, Governor General from 1773 to 1785, was one of the many important figures who played a significant role in the expansion of company power. By his time, the company had acquired power not only in Bengal but also in Bombay and Madras. So guys, these guys is very famous in the history of English, Warren Hastings, because these guys made too much rules which are very cruel for Indian people, and he is the person who is very talented to occupy all kind of country, all kind of territories, and That's why there were three presidents: Bengal, Madras, and Bombay. Each was ruled by governor, and then comes the governor Raj too. And these guys come with, look at the assembly, and then that's why we have a today court system, guys. These British here are very, very intriguous person and very clever, and they have a kind of sweet poison that we will provide you everything, but except that they will not never provide you anything, but they will occupy everything from to you. Then the company's army, colonial rules. Now guys, let me give you the clarification what is colonialism. When this British here come into India or Africa, they say we will give you opportunity of trade, we will buy your clothes, we will buy your everything in high prices, and we will give you a good education, we will give you a good religions, we will give you the priest who will guide you, who have a direct contact with God. Now the question comes, guys, if in some way anybody comes to in your house and he says that I am a priest and I have a connection with God, do you believe? Don't laugh, okay? Can you believe it? Just think that it has never happened, but it was time when it was happened first time, and anything which happens first time, you not understand that. Colonial rules in India brought in some new ideas of administration and reforms, but its power rested on its military strength. The Mughal army was mainly composed of cavalry and infantry, that is paidal soldiers. They were given training in archery. So guys, these was the army was training given by those people in archery and use of sword. Sword is mightier than pen. Is it okay? Pen is mightier than sword. This is the sentence. The cavalry dominated the army and the Mughal state. Guys, the lecture is going to be far, don't worry about it, just listen it carefully, don't worry, it lasts long time. The cavalry dominated the army and the Mughal state did not feel the need to have a large professionally trained infantry. The rural areas had a large number of armed peasants, and the local zamindars often supplied the Mughal with paidal soldiers. Then also the change occurs in the 18th century when Mughal successor states like Awadh and Banaras started recruiting peasants into their armies and training them as a professional soldiers. So all kind of both the side the armies comes and they were trained. So in the East India Company adopted the same method. So guys, when your opponent is doing something, then you also think even once and then you try to do it. Then the same thing was company did. Sorry, the same thing for the company work over on it. As a warfare technology changed from the 1820s, the cavalry recruitment of the company's army declined. This because of British Empire was fighting in a Burma, Afghanistan and Egypt, where soldiers were armed with muskets and matchlocks. The soldiers of the company, so this is the name of the heavy gun, okay? Then in 18th century, early 19th century, the British began develop a union military culture. Soldiers were increasingly subject to European style training. Okay guys, so the conclusion, let me clear you with the conclusion. Nothing with that. The East India Company come here, and let me tell you about it, just to occupy the whole territory, and then they sent 2 to 3 governor general who made a tendencies how to occupy the whole country. Then the battle of Plassey and the battle of Buxar, which was fought against Sirajud-Dowla and this uh, Britishers. And then we have a Tipu Sultan with the fight with Britishers. Then we have a Marathas, and some Marathas was died, and then we have Marathas who was left and still have a existence, like Gaekwad and Sindhia. So these kind of things is over here. Just read it and stay tuned with Aster Global. If you have any query, just make a call. Okay guys.